Welcome to the MLS Show. It is the results reaction video. Going to be a very, very short one this week, given there was only 3 matches played in Major League Soccer over the weekend. Let's start with the first game, New York City against New England Revolution. It was a good game. It was a good game in terms of both teams really going for the victory. Patrick Vieira men feel as though they're still missing something. New York City, I think when I watched them, the reliance on David Villa in the final third is still too much. And the problem with that is that Villa always goes off and plays out wide almost. And it's really, really frustrating because what should happen is then someone should take his place in the middle, whether that be Taylor. McNamara's always involved in this issue, but I just feel as though they need something else coming through the middle for the times when he is out wide. And he likes to drop off into those areas, those wide areas, and run up players and play little 1-2s round the corner. But for me, New York City's still missing that focal point up front. This one started okay for him. He took the lead. Vieira it was who had a thumping shot which hit the underside of the crossbar rather, and Tommy McNamara headed in to give New York City a deserved lead. I would say they started the better side. And they huffed and puffed after that. They were trying to get into decent areas. Revs came into it. Fagundes looked quite dangerous for them. Of course, New England without Lee Win, who is a key player for them in terms of opening teams up. They come back into the game. New York City couldn't really. They were getting into the right areas, just couldn't really put any of the chances away that they were having. And the Revs got themselves a free kick, edge of the penalty area, and Tierney lashed home the free kick. I think it came off Mendoza and deflected past Saunders in the goal. Nothing he could do about it. And that tied things up at 1-1 at half time. So we were looking for a big second half, looking for the likes of Poku to really step up and take the game to the Revs. But he had a little bit of a disappointing game, to be fair. Showed some good touches like he does. You know, he's a player that I really enjoyed watching last season. Thought he was brilliant. This season he looks short of minutes. He looks as though he needs more games. People were asking, could he do the roles down the middle and let Villa play out wide? I don't think he's that kind of player. He's a player that likes to run at defenders rather than take the ball in and offer almost a focal point for New York City. And that's an area which Patrick Vieira is going to have to look at as we go forward, because they are missing that gap up front when Villa goes wide. The second half huffed and puffed a little bit. Both teams had a couple of chances, and then the referees decided once again to rear their ugly head of ridiculous decisions, and that is the sending off of Kofi for New England Revolution. Yes, it was a booking for me. It was a tackle from behind. It wasn't. I think he went for the ball. I think McNamara was just a little bit too quick. Kofi went for the ball. He caught him. But out came the red card immediately, and you're looking at it thinking, it's a yellow card. Stop doing these stupid decisions that are ruining football matches, because they're ruining games. Red cards, I said it on the weekly roundup, red cards should be, something that you see sporadic, shall we say. In MLS, they're just part of the course now. You're surprised when you get through a game that hasn't been a red card. A ridiculous decision for me, and all that done was meant New England Revolution just sat in there then, and it kind of hindered New York City. The interesting thing for me was, though, Revs looked better with the 10 men, because I think the pitch is causing New York City real problems. I think at home it's causing them problems. It's too small, so it enables teams to sit in and be nice and compact and pick it off on the break. We've seen it with Orlando City last week. Scored early on and were able to pull New York City apart at times on the counter-attack by being nice and compact. And it happened again. The Revs had the better chances as we went forward. We went on. I think Charlie Davis missed 2 really good chances to put the game to bed for Revs. We had a couple of breakaways where it just didn't break right for them. Yet New York at the moment, Villa lashed one wide. Tommy McNamara had a side-foot chance right at the death that everyone thought he'd scored, side-footed it into the side net. But I just don't think the pitch helps New York City, and it's something Patrick Vieira is going to have to address. Maybe a way of playing, but like I said, again, for me, a good target man, someone who can take it in, someone who can knock people about and let Villa, let McNamara, those kind of players run off him and create that little bit of space, because at the moment it isn't happening for them. So that ends up 1-1. It leaves New York City with 1 victory, 2 draws, and a defeat from their opening 4. The Revs still looking for that first victory, but 3 draws and a defeat for them. So both teams, a decent point. I think New England Revolution will be obviously happier with the point going down to 10 men. Moving on, DC United 0, FC Dallas 3. Fancied FC Dallas for this one anyway, and they came out the blocks fantastically well. Oscar Pereira, that side is just so exciting to watch when it plays like this. You've got Arruti, who's come in. You've got Diaz, you've got Castillo running at you from all angles, causing real problems. And you've got Barrios, who was fantastic last night. He gave Dallas the lead on 14 minutes. Yes, I felt it started okay. They were getting the ball wide. They were trying to get players involved in the final third. Dallas picked them off, and it was a defensive mistake, and Barrios just was ruthless with the finish. He lashes it in, and that's 1-0 to FC Dallas. DC came back trying to get themselves back in the game, pressing forward. Chris Rolfe was getting involved. Espindola always looked as though he was the man that was going to unlock anything. He had a couple of little moves with some great footwork, but nothing at the end, nothing to finish it off. And then Dallas broke and made it 2-0. Barrios again, lovely little finish with the outside of his foot, and that was 2-0. And from then on, Dallas just picked them off at will. For me, DC huffed and puffed. They played okay, and at half time, they asked Ben Olsen, if he was happy with the way it went, and he said he felt as though the game wasn't over. There was chances still to be taken in the game, and it looked like that for DC. But again, missing Triborio, missing a focal point. De Leon in midfield was just on the verge of happening. And I thought actually Patrick Nyarko had a really good game for DC United. And he should have had a penalty. He should have had a pen. Arruti had already made it 3-0 with a lovely little finish, but then Nyarko goes on a great little run and is taken out in the box, and another stupid refereeing decision. It was a stonewall penalty. There was no questions about it. He took him out. It was a penalty. The referee comically waved play on. And then quite bizarrely awarded the penalty for nothing, for literally nothing. There wasn't even any appeal by the DC players, and he gave a penalty. Espindola stepped up, keeper saved it. It was a poor penalty, to be fair. Goalkeeper saves it, and then Dallas, obviously get that next bit of momentum to go on again, and then Savas raises his hand and is sent off. And I've just been critical of the referee in the New England Revolution New York City game for the sending off, but this one, I don't really think there was any complaints. He's raised his hand, he's hit the kid in the face, and for me that's a red card if you raise your hand. People might say that's a little bit harsh. Just the way I saw it, he's known what he was doing. For me, he's lashed out, frustration, he's hit him, and it was a red card. And then his players, Espindola especially, done well to get Savas away from the referee, because he looked like he was going to get himself into more trouble. Just one little takeaway from me: the people who were commentating on the DC game, they were obviously DC United fans. That's what it sounded like. He was still saying at 3-0, this game is winnable for DC, and wasn't the game I was watching. Although DC had a lot of the ball, final third let themselves down. It wasn't as if Dallas were hanging on. For me, Dallas defended really well. It's just a bit bizarre, that belief, but you know what? That's what it's all about, isn't it? You watch different games and everyone has a different opinion. Dallas, for me, could have made it 4 or 5 on the break a couple of times. Castillo done well and just made the wrong shot selection or the wrong pass. DC, lots of good build-up. Still a little bit short in the final third for me, but that can change quite quickly. I thought Taylor Kemp was excellent for DC United last night. And Nyarko, like I say, he's one who I think will do really well for them. But it ended 3-0 to FC Dallas. They've now won 3 of their 4 games. Just that one defeat, which is quite bizarre. A 5-0 defeat to Houston, which is a little bit mad. For DC United, their record is 2 draws and 2 defeats. So Ben Olsen's men still looking for their first victory of the season. Moving on to Vancouver against Houston Dynamo. Vancouver Whitecaps 1, Houston Dynamo 0. Pedro Morales with a 23rd minute penalty. Was it a penalty? Yeah, it probably was a penalty at the far post, cross going in, and it was Kendo, was it? Kudo pulled down at the far post. Referee awards the penalty and Morales knocks it in. This was a really good game. Both sides, goalkeepers instead want to make sure that he kept that clean sheet, didn't he? He made some good saves for Vancouver to maintain their lead. Houston in the first half had a couple of half chances. Will Bruin took one down, almost scored with it. Wenger rattled a great shot in there as well, and just it was a tight game. It was a tight game, and it was settled by a penalty, and that was it. Really, all you can say about it. Vancouver lost the opening 2 games, have responded really well with 2 victories since then. Houston Dynamo 2 defeats on the run now after a win and a draw, but got goals in them. Definitely got goals in this side. Okay, didn't get one last night, but I still think Owen Coyle's meant he looked good at times, hit a post late on as well. So, good positive signs for them, for Houston there. I feel as though they can do a lot better than they did last season. Vancouver, always strong, great support again there. And, for Robinson's men, they have picked themselves up after a poor start. And, it is important to get points on the board in March, early on in the season, because obviously things can happen, injuries can kick in, poor form can come in at some stage. It's a very, very long season, and they'll be delighted to have bounced back with 2 important victories. For Houston, pick themselves up, go again. 2 narrow defeats for them, 4-3 last week at Red Bulls, now 1-0. At Vancouver. So it's fine margins for Owen Coyle's men, but I think he will have seen enough to be quite positive about the season, I feel, anyway, watching him. That rounds it up. That was longer than I thought it was going to be. Obviously, I just go on and on when I don't need to. Look out for more videos coming this week. Give us a little subscribe. Like us on Facebook. Not enough of you liking us on Facebook, so give us a little thumbs up on Facebook there, and catch me next time on the MLS Show. Welcome to the MLS Show. It is the results reaction video. Going to be a very, very short one this week, given there was only 3 matches played in Major League Soccer over the weekend. Let's start with the first game, New York City against New England Revolution. It was a good game. It was a good game in terms of, they come back into the game. New York City couldn't really. They were getting into the right areas, just couldn't really put any of the chances away that they were having. And the Revs got themselves a free kick, edge of the penalty area, and Tierney lashed home the free kick. I think it came off Mendoza and deflected past Saunders in the goal. Nothing he could do about it. And that tied things up at 1-1 at half-time. So we were looking for a big... Both teams really going for the victory. Patrick Vieira... men feel as though they're still missing something. New York City, I think when I watched them, the reliance on David Villa in the final third is still too much, and the problem with that is that Villa always goes off and plays out wide almost, and it's really, really frustrating, because what should happen is then someone should take his place in the middle, whether that be Taylor. McNamara's always involved in there this year, but I just feel as though they need something else coming through the middle for the times when he is out wide, and he likes to drop off into those areas, those wide areas, and run up players and play little 1-2s round the corner. But for me, New York City's still missing that focal point up front. This one started okay for him. He took the lead. Vieira it was who had a thumping shot which hit the underside of the crossbar, and Tommy McNamara headed in to give New York City a deserved lead. I would say they started the better side. And they huffed and puffed after that. They were trying to get into decent areas. Revs came into it. Fagundes looked quite dangerous for them. Of course, New England without Lee Wynn, who is a key player for them in terms of opening teams up. They